Hi everybody, my name is Billy Walker. I'm the Master Blender at GlenAllachie Distillers, and this is my colleague.
Hi, I'm Ronan, Currie, the Assistant Blender at GlenAllachie Distillery, and today we are going to talk through our big pursuit of peated Speyside single malt.
Indeed, very exciting. It's not often you get the chance to take something from an embryo and take it to the delivery point, and in the process, hopefully, we believe, achieve the kind of reality that you had the vision for. When we started out looking at the possibility of running a range of peated products, the concept was kind of sown in early 2018. And indeed, we started producing around I think it's the middle of the year 2018, and we understood that it wasn't our ambition to compete with Islay peats. Our challenge and our ambition was to use mainland peat, and the big difference is that we went out setting out to create a peated product that was overwhelmed with medicinal notes and briny notes. We wanted to capture the kind of sweet notes of mainland peat and roll these into the influence that we could introduce from the distillery. Having set out the kind of ground rules, we then had to establish what we wanted to do, the relationship between the peat supplier and the malted barley company, and that was really important. We had to get the kind of peat that would deliver the phenols, the level of phenols that we wanted in the malted barley, and we had to get the maltster to buy into what we wanted to do with the actual malted barley that had been peated. And so we got by and large, we got malted barley somewhere around about 80 to 90 ppm of phenols, and our ambition then was to create a distillate that across the range would have phenols around about 35 ppm, and with one additional surprise. So the journey's been very interesting. The name, how did we choose the name? Meikle Tòir, combination of Old Scots and Gaelic, big pursuit, and yeah, that's exactly what it's been. It's taking this embryo of an idea and pursuing the challenge to deliver the kind of end product that we're about to showcase today.
Starting off with our Meikle Tòir, the original, it's a combination of American virgin oak, rye casks and bourbon casks. We serve this at a slightly higher ABV of 50%, non-chill filtered, we haven't added any colour, and it is sitting at 35 ppm, and that's the spirit sitting at 35 ppm, obviously the barley being between 80 and 90 before it was distilled.
What are you picking up?
Right away you are getting this sense of a drier, earthier, fruitier sort of smoke, more campfire than sort of the seaweed iodine flavours that you get from the Islay peated. It is more sweet, sort of earthier.
Yep, with you. On the palate?
The palate, the virgin oak casks are playing a lovely role, combining with the peat of this sort of spice smoke that's coming through. What we're doing with Meikle Tòir as well is you've got your 160-hour fermentation. So you are getting a lot more fruit-driven flavours in there, lots of butterscotch and honey as well.
Good ester levels, good ester notes. What I find quite interesting about the original is that, from experience, you choose certain casks for the maturation. And you're kind of comfortable in the territory that we're working at, what they're going to deliver, the kind of characteristics, the depth of flavour, the range of flavour. We have used rye casks sometimes difficult to work with. But for this kind of product, they deliver a wonderful spicy, cinnamony note to the overall experience. Listen back, this is a belter.
Mm-hmm. And we're talking about 160 hours fermentation. What does that give us when we're coming to the final product compared to something of a shorter fermentation time?
Look, from a physical point of view, from a practical point of view, you're allowing the fermentation to go to full term, you're allowing the yeast to go to full term. You're probably getting, and from a size point of view, I'm not going to delve into the size, but you're certainly getting more esters delivering. You're probably getting some, in the final 30 or 40 hours, you're getting some natural bacteria, generous sympathetic bacteria working away. You've got some oxidation going on. So, and importantly, from the distiller's point of view, you're bringing a very benign wash to the wash still. So you don't have you shouldn't have any anxieties about anything bubbling over or getting any solids on the sides of the neck, which can actually, if they burn too much, you can get mal odors, off odors. So long fermentation is, in terms of flavour, is a big plus, and in terms of the pragmatic and the practicality of distilling, is a very big plus.
All of our Meikle Tòir whiskies, we're serving at the same age. We're looking at 5-year-old spirit here, first distilled in 2018. And what you're getting from a younger peated spirit is the peat, is smoke, is very, very prominent. When you start aging and starting to get to the higher age, you start to lose that as the cask development becomes more dominant. But here you're getting that lovely combination with the original, especially of that ginger, cinnamon spice coming from the cask maturation, and that lovely mainland smoke coming through as well.
Think of all the points that we've kind of dwelt on today, Ron, and that's maybe the most important one. That first of all, it's important to be honest about who we are and what we're putting in the bottle. We're not embarrassed about putting a 5-year-old onto this. And the reason is that, and it's something we've shared on a number of conversations, the peat delivery between 5 years and 8 years is probably the most interesting, some of the most powerful, and it brings along with it that very interesting crisp bite that you get from the peat. As you age past 8 years, the phenols and the peat delivery begin to fade a little bit. It doesn't make the whiskey any less good or any more good. It just changes the life of the whiskey and the characteristics that are developing. Between 5 and 8 is not bad territory to be in.
Now looking at the second whiskey in the range, this is Meikle Tòir, the Chinkapin one, which gives an indication to the sort of cask types we're using here. We are matured in American oak and then moved specifically into Chinkapin virgin oak barrels.
We should actually just dwell a little bit on Chinkapin. I'm a little bit of a cheat when it comes to Chinkapin. I love Chinkapin casks, and I think we can say with some honesty that we were probably one of the first distillers to actually delve into the use of Chinkapin oak. Grown in Missouri and in the northeast of Canada, but the characteristics that are important in Chinkapin are, they give you, as well as giving you the wonderful and the kind of honey and butterscotch notes that you'd expect from virgin oak. And I should say these casks have been medium toast and medium charred. So an interesting balance of the kind of physical characteristics of the cask. But in addition to these normal characteristics you would get from old casks, there is some anise, there is some fennel, and there's some licorice coming through when you use these casks. It doesn't overwhelm the liquid, but it blends beautifully, it equilibrates beautifully with all the other characteristics. A big experience.
Wait. So on the nose, so again, the sort of characteristic of Meikle Tòir starts to come through. There's your honey, there's a little bit of ginger in there, but you're starting to get that little bit of burnt licorice or sort of burnt aniseed.
And I don't, having been a vegetarian once upon a time, Ronan, you must be picking up fennel and licorice. But in truth, it is important that to kind of showcase the kind of different characteristics that different wood brings to the product. And I mean, I've been on lots of shows re-emphasising the point that, look, every distiller, you can expect that every distiller and distilling operator can make good neutral spirit. That's a given. After that, it's about the quality of the wood you use. It's about the variety of the wood you use. It's about understanding, having the knowledge to understand the sweet point when you can, how long does it take to get the maximum out of the wood, get it to the sweet point. And yeah, we think the wood delivers about 70% of the characteristics. And this doesn't surprise us.
So yeah, serving the Chinkapin at 48 ABV, 5 years old again, 35 ppm. And it's you are getting a beautiful combination of the American oak, the Chinkapin virgin oak, and this mainland peat coming through.
And they are both delivering on the sweet side of where we want it to be. In fact, we need to emphasise how important we think using the mainland peat. Mainland peat essentially is a decomposition, it's a product of the decomposition of trees and wood. Whereas if you contrast that with Islay peat, there's very few trees on the island, so it's a different kind of vegetative decomposition. And yeah, look, it's nice to have this difference, and we're not apologising for using mainland peat.
You're mentioning the Chinkapin virgin oak is a medium toast, medium char. Within this final product, what is that adding into the maturation of the spirit?
Essentially, the toasting of the wood starts the process of decomposition of the hemicellulose structure of the wood. So you're beginning to get a variety of sugars, maltose, sucrose, fructose, aragonose, all the kind of sugar family. The charring, medium charring, which I don't know, but that's about 20 seconds, actually then starts caramelizing the sugars. So you're getting treacle notes, butterscotch notes, honey notes. It also opens up the channels deeper into the wood, where the spirit can then penetrate and get into flavour components that might take a little bit longer if you were not charring or
lighter. Yeah.
But it's an exciting journey, and these products are, am I allowed to say it, belters? These are definitely belters.
This third whisky we're trying here, the sherry one. Again, we're looking at an initial maturation in American oak before moving to a combination of Oloroso and Pedro Jimenez sherry puncheons. Served at 48%, again, like the rest of the Meikle Tòir range, we're looking at 5 years old. The sherry one, 35 ppm. You've really got this great combination of chocolate, butterscotch and honey combined with the fruitiness that you get from using the mainland peat.
Yeah, and you know, in spite of the significant peat presence, you are also picking up some malka.
You get a lot of the chocolate, sort of cocoa to...
Oh, but listen, the sherry casks and the peat, they just dance together beautifully.
The sort of campfire-esque smoke grows as you move from sort of the front of the palate to the back. It sort of develops as it goes on.
Just don't let it sit, don't like a match. And we briefly touched on the strengths. So we're bottling at 48%. The first thing I would say is that We do it because we think it's a natural strength to drink at. The palate is comfortable with it. We don't think you need to add water. We're not saying don't add water, but give it a chance. Try it at 48%. It also is, the reality is, it's a more stable product. At 48%, if you drop the strength down from 48 perhaps down to 43, maybe even lower, you're changing the solution characteristic of the liquid, and you're drifting into territory where quite a rich product, quite rich with flavour product, over a period of time, if it's exposed to maybe a fridge or cold weather, it can actually throw a precipitate. So we're very aware that it's better to bottle at strengths that will leave the product really stable, and also is natural for tasting, in my opinion. I'm not saying don't add water, but try it.
So what's going to feel on the palate for you?
Well, interestingly, I think the smokiness and the phenols enhance the kind of coffee notes, the Christmas cake notes, the chocolate notes, the spicy notes, the almost peel. I think that actually takes it into new territory. And it's no great surprise. Done some work on this before, and it's exactly delivered what our expectation would be. And again, I think it's also really important that where we are in terms of the aging process is delivering such a, frankly, very, very rich, mature style of product.
Mm-hmm. The combination of peat, smoke, and the sherry, as you said, it does have this dancing sort of effect. It's the balance and on the palate, it just works so well together.
Delivering absolutely beautiful, well balanced, wonderfully in equilibrium.
So we're now moving on to Meikle Tòir, the Turbo. How did we come by the Turbo name?
I think we need to explain what this product actually is. Our plan was that we knew, along with the great assistance of Richard, we knew exactly where the phenols were sitting in the spirit cut. So we kind of drove it into the spirit cut and took a limited cut right out of the heart of the rich phenol sector. Our expectation would be that it would be somewhere between 70 and 80 ppm. I think as it turns out it's around about 71 ppm. So the name Turbo derived from the fact that, well, it's a wee bit higher than normal with ppms, but it's significantly higher than normal. And in many ways, it's quite difficult to achieve this level of ppms in a normal distillate.
So you're taking the heart of the heart out of and maturing separately.
Maturing separately, and specifically we're maturing in a mix of virgin oak and Oloroso hogsheads. And we knew that there was enough in there that we could live with the choice of Oloroso only. There was enough kind of honey butterscotch already in the spirit. Yeah.
And again, serving a slightly higher strength at 50%.
Yeah, and
comfortable at that level.
Comfortable, and the charm of this and the design. It's like if you know it, you know it. We chose to mature this in virgin oak cask and Oloroso hogsheads. And you know the influence or the difference between the pungent and the hogsheads is significant. The influence of the hogshead is again it accelerates the delivery.
So you're looking at a smaller cask hogshead compared to a pungent, so the interaction between the spirit and the wood happens a lot quicker. It goes into the staves of the wood and is drawing out these traditional Oloroso flavours and your chocolate, your orange peel, small amount of spice in there as well.
Yeah, it's listen, hogsheads are wonderful to work with, expensive, they're wonderful to work with, and it's not about accelerating the journey, it's about actually expanding the experience.
So what are you getting here from the turbo? We are talking, it's a very high ppm at 71, and that's again for all the Meikle Tòir range, the spirits at that.
Look, there's no question that the phenol, the smoky experience is significantly higher. I think the choice of rich wood was important because it hasn't allowed the high phenol, the high peated level to overwhelm or smother the other characteristics. So I'm still getting, I'm getting a big bite here. I'm getting all the carry you would expect. You're getting butterscotch, honey.
The distillate character is very much still coming through.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the presence of Christmas cake, chocolate, and dark chocolate, mocha, spicy cinnamon, they're all there. They're not being overwhelmed, but the peat has got quite a big role in here.
So with the Meikle Tòir turbo, because we are taking that heart of heart, we're running with a really small volume of distillate, so we're looking at yearly batches there's always the chance of variance between them.
Yeah, it's look, this is going to be a very, very limited experience. I think we're getting about the equivalent of 500, 600 cases from a cut. And I don't see that changing significantly. We may of course increase the size of the peated campaign, which would allow us to take additional cuts. But if you can get your hands on this one, do yourself a favour.
Our peated campaign at the distillery, how long is that a year for?
Well, it's probably about 6 to 8 weeks. Our targeted production going forward has been about 1 million litres of alcohol. Again, within a distillery that can produce 4 million. So we'll do about 100,000 litres of alcohol in each of the peated campaigns going forward. We started running at 60,000, and we have progressively moved into about 100,000. I don't see it getting bigger than that. I don't see it getting smaller than that. But we'll see how the journey goes. We're dead proud of what we achieved. We're proud of what we've achieved on this side. We're proud of what we've achieved in terms of the actual presentation and the quality of the packaging. But more importantly, we're just proud. We think we've done a good job. But I'm going to tell you, I'm picking my favourite, and it's been a very hard choice. On another day or at another time in the day, it might be a different choice. But today at 20 to 12, the palate is almost clean. I'm going with a Chinkapin.
I'm going for the turbo. It's the higher ppm and the higher intensity of smoke combined with the virgin and the Oloroso casks that we've used, I think just works tremendously well. And I like all of them, but for me the turbo sort of stands out just a little bit.
That's the benefit of use, slang.
Slang.